Once again, my name is Michael Boyo. My background is in computer science and engineering. And that's what gives me the, I would say, humble pride. You might say that's an oxymoron. But, at the same time, when I say it humbles me, at the same time, I can say I'm proud to say that I've spent the last 2.5 decades in technology. Yes, you heard that right. 2.5 decades. My face seems to not give it away, especially when I say 2.5 decades. But yes, I look back and I realize that, you know what? Oh my God, that I've been in tech for about 2.5 decades. Now, what does that really mean? I'm not here to intimidate anyone, but what that means is that it has given me that privilege to have seen a lot. I've not seen everything, but I can say that I've seen a lot. And by saying that, I mean to state here that I believe very strongly that, I have a lot to offer. Now, having graduated from computer science and engineering, I went on to do my postgraduate program in internet systems and development in the UK. And after that, I continued working. I started out my career, like every other IT graduate in the typical IT engineering space, where I had the privilege of doing, I would say virtually, I got my hands dirty into so many areas of IT, and I don't want to bore you with that. I went on from, being an IT engineer for about 8 years. I rose up to the role of an IT manager in an aviation servicing company back in West Africa. And then I moved to Europe, where I continued my tech career in a telecom global brand. Back in the day, it was called Vodafone, but now it's called Epic. And there was another opportunity for me where technology was at the forefront of my career. To be honest with you, it's a privilege for me to have been exposed to diverse technologies in my 8 years working in that telecom global brand. And then I moved out here to Canada about 8 years ago. So I guess that's, if you are doing some arithmetic, it's like every 8 years I move from one continent to another. Um, I don't think I'm planning to move to another continent right now. I think for me, where I am now, I can call it home. So I'm fine. Having said that, I was part of a training platform a few years ago where, again, in pursuit of my quest for technology, I got trained in another technology, as it were. And that gave me a privilege within that community based on my experience to be able to lend a hand and offer help to growing folks, I think, within the technology space. And I keep hearing this verbiage a lot. Oh, I want to transition to tech. Oh, I want to pivot to tech. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's a bit strange to me because I never had to transition. I never had to pivot. I've always been in tech. And so that gave me that platform to be able to lend a hand to folks that were aspiring to better their career. And I want to make it known here that we are not just going to be talking about tech here, but tech remains my first love, if you permit me to say that. And that's why it's a space, I find so comfortable. However, it doesn't mean that this space is just limited to people who want to transition to tech or who want to be in tech. It is all about a holistic career evolution process. And that's why one of our bylines says, we are going to help you to become a better version of you. Because one thing I've realized over time is that people want to attain to something, but they don't know the way to get there. And told someone about a few days ago that if you are going in the wrong direction, no matter how hard you try, you will never arrive at the right destination. Never, being the operative word, right? I hope you can agree with me on that. And so, because of that, you'd begin to ask yourself the question, how do I get to where I need to be from where I am right now? There's nothing wrong with where you are, but for you, you have to decide and determine, do you want to stay where you are or aspire to where you want to be? Now, once you know where you want to be, the next question is, how do you get there? So you imagine, I don't even know how we did it back in the day, going from one end of the city to another without Google Maps. I don't know how we did it, but we sure did it. But would you imagine you going to a foreign country where you've never visited and you are not even able to get to where you need to be just because you don't have a sat nav or the Google Map app? It's going to be challenging and difficult, wouldn't you agree? And that's what I'm here to help you facilitate. Because like I said, I've seen a lot. And, in a little while here, I'm going to throw it open because I'm not just going to be talking to you on this call. This is our debut call. And I want to hear from you, members of the community. I want to respect the fact that I reached out to you and you joined the community. Now, my goal is that we can build a community which will be one, a safe space. Number two, where people can ask questions that is related to their career. Number three, where people can support and network with one another. Number four, where people with like minds can come around and say that, how do I achieve this? How do I get this done? How do I do this? Or perhaps, for example, you have an interview coming up. Remember that training platform I talked about? I've had the rare privilege of, helping people out with having clarity in their careers, with having, with helping them prepare for interviews, with helping them with their resume. Because when I came into Canada, I was still talking with somebody. I had an interview prep with someone a few days ago. And I was telling the person that when I came into Canada 8 years ago, with at that point in time, I had 15 years cognitive work experience in the tech space, traversing from Africa and into Europe. And I came to Canada with a 13-pager resume. And it didn't take me time to realize that that resume wasn't going to fly, right? Yeah, you can laugh at me right now. A 13-pager resume, who is going to even read that? But that was where I was, right? Now, some of you might be there, it may not be a 13-pager, but you have a resume that is not just going to cut it. So I'm not going to say a lot, right? But I'm just trying to hint on you who I am and what I'm passionate about. I'm passionate about people doing better. I'm passionate about people getting better. I'm passionate about the fact that your background should not determine your foreground. I repeat that. Wherever you are coming from should not be a determinant of where you are headed. You determine where you are headed and then you work at it. And I have another mantra that says no pain, no gain. What that means is that, yes, do you need to put in the work? Absolutely, yes. Work equals pain. But you know what? When the gain comes, you also get all the gain. And that's the beauty of life, right? People say that for every glory, there's a story. But most of us don't hear the story. We only see the glory. And so, even for you too, when the glory comes, when you finally arrive at that destination, when you finally achieve that your career goal, people would only see the glory. They wouldn't see all the pain that you went through. But we are here, I'm here, to help you go through that process in whatever shape or form. And like I said, I want to listen to the community. So I'm going to stop talking in less than 30 seconds. I'm going to listen to the community and you tell me what you want us to be doing. You tell me what you think we should be talking about. You tell me how I can help you. And then we can begin to build that template together so that all together we would all win. So like I said, I'm going to stop talking right now and I'm going to, leave the floor open. I have some of my friends here who are also professionals in their own rights. I just want to recognize them. Thank you, John. John is in Malaga, Spain. Thank you, Philip. Philip is in Ontario, Canada. Efe, I see you. Thank you so much. Right. These are some of my friends that have come around, just to support me and hopefully partner with me. And I have a number of my mentees on the call. I call them mentees, but to be honest with you, I learned from them as well. I just want to thank all of you for joining me on this call, where I'm hoping that I can hear from you, those that know me already and those that do not know me. And then you can ask me questions and hopefully I'll be able to answer you. Thank you very much. So who's going to go first? You don't want me to start calling names, right? Let me try and see. Yeah, I'll go. I see you. How are you doing today? Okay, who has
Fine, good
Ade?
afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon, Ogo. Ade, how are you?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Do you want to tell us where you are calling from, Ade?
No, Ade is calling from Calgary, Alberta, Canada.
Thank you so much for joining us, Ade. Please go
You're
ahead.
welcome. Okay, thank you so much for this opportunity. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, everyone. Like I said, I'm from Calgary. I live in Calgary, and I'm one of those people that pivot or that is looking to pivot into IT. Um, yes, I have a background in sciences, environmental management, and project management. I currently work in the healthcare space, and I'm just trying to see an amalgamation of all these experiences that I've had and see how they can mesh into or how IT can help put this together. To answer your questions as to what should we be discussing? I think the lowest hanging fruit is obvious, that is helping people to find their footing, not only in IT, but in any area that is of interest. But I also feel that there's this proverb I believe that I always say that a candle does not light itself, neither does a lamp light its own path. Some of us, we tend to feel, oh, this is the way that I think I want to go based on maybe experience. And I found that at times other people see potential in you that you have not seen or you've never harnessed, either because you are blindsided or is a blind spot. So I would also want to see something like that on this forum, whereby thankfully we are a close knit family, no holds barred, and where people are vulnerable and free to talk. So I would want to see an opportunity whereby Michael Boyo can say to Ade, say, "Oh, Ade, I think this is a gifting you are not harnessing. Aside, you wanting to go into IT, would you like to venture into this space? And if yes, can we help you?" And that's because most times real talent is latent unless it is seen by other people, or maybe you find a way to sit down and bring it out of you. So I would want to see those kind of opportunities apart from the obvious support, because I know it might work. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Ade. I really appreciate that. I like when you say a space that is safe, where we can be vulnerable, where we can ask for support. And I like when you say that we may not even know our giftings. We may not even know what we have, right? And that brings me to a quote. Unfortunately, I can't bring it on screen, but I'll just read it out. Your career is an ever evolving story. Everybody's career, including mine, right, is an ever evolving story. And I'm hoping that your career, for you, you are planning to make it an inspiring one. I get inspired every day in my career because I am in the driver's seat. And hopefully, in this series of sessions that we'll be having, you will get to know much more about me. I'm very inspired about my career. Now, the best way to predict your future is to create it. I tell people a lot. If somebody comes to me, oh, Mr. Mike, I'm looking for this job. I say, what job? The person gives me a job title. And I say, okay, do you know what it takes to do that job? And they go blank. And I'm like, so what exactly are you saying? What exactly do you intend to do? You just know the job title, but you don't know what the job is all about? No, you can't do that, right? You need to know what the job is all about so that then you have an idea of what it takes to do that job. You don't need to know all the answers. Even I don't. I may know quite a lot, but I don't know all. And I'm okay with that, right? But your career journey will reveal them as you go from one day to the other, right? And then what makes it easier, and I do tell people in my own era that I wish I had mentors, coaches. Not that we didn't have, but we just had them as uncles that would say, read this course, don't read that one. Or go to this university, don't go to that university. But for you to say, when I was growing up in my career, I didn't have someone that sat down with me and say, oh, okay, what exactly do you want to do? What kind of a job are you looking for? How do you get there? What are the skills that are required? I didn't have anybody sitting down with me having that kind of a conversation. We merely just winged it. We turned out okay. Thank God for that. But we're now saying that do we want other folks to go through it in that excruciating fashion? My answer to that is absolutely no. Right? With the right mentor, with the right coach. And then there's also the principle of sponsor. Maybe one of these sessions, I would explain to you the differences between those three: a mentor, a coach, and a sponsor. You need each of them in your life. So thank you once again, Ade. Your points are noted, and hopefully we'll do something about those. Appreciate you once again, and thanks for joining. Anyone else? Tina. Hey, Tina, how are you?
I'm fine.
Good
Good
to see you
morning.
here. Good morning. How is the
Yeah, good
family?
morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone.
Good
My name
evening.
is
Good afternoon to
Tina.
you. So where are you
Yeah,
calling from? Let people
I'm
know.
calling from Edmonton, Alberta, in Canada, and I'm actually excited to join this forum today.
Thank you so
In
much,
fact, I
Tina.
invited a lot of people to this forum
Thank you.
because I used to belong to something like this. Actually, I we just like set of job seekers that just came together. We're looking for project manager roles, and we're like 15 of us. We just came together and
Wow.
we
We need to get
started
those 15
interview.
people here.
They are all. It's difficult now. They
I
all have
know.
jobs now,
All
so
over the world,
they've
right?
all gone. Yeah. So, when you have people like minds, it's very easy for you to bring people together.
Correct.
And for me, I really am a product of mentors. I'm a product of collaboration, people coming together. It has really helped. What I will spend hours in reading on my own and trying to figure out on my own, with collaboration, just 30 minutes, I've tried to figure it out. I've
Absolutely.
not been in the IT space. I recently, like 3 years ago, joined the IT space, and mentors have really helped me. So, what am I expecting in this forum? I I work as a senior consultant, project manager, and I am expecting to talk to people. Like, even though I'll tell you, even if you've worked in IT for years, if you still have a new role, there's this imposter syndrome, there's this fear that comes with it. So
Absolutely.
I'm hoping that this forum will help me. It's gonna be a safe place where I can discuss my worst fears, I can discuss my successes, and I'm also available to help people that are upcoming. I mean, from my experience, I'm very, very ready to give it out. So that is what I'm expecting in this forum. And like what you said, mentorship, I tell people you can never underestimate it. It's very
Absolutely.
powerful. When you have
Absolutely.
somebody telling you this is what my first role as a scrum master, you will never believe that that was my first gig because I had strong mentors. When
Mm-hmm.
I talk in the meeting, people are like, oh, she's got a lot of experience. Most times it's not me that I'm talking, it's my mentors, it's what they told me. I just go there.
That's interesting,
I go
right?
to the meeting and I just everything they said, I just tell my mentor, he would go and tell them this. So I said that and they're like, oh, she's got a lot of experience. And I keep studying on my own. Even up till now, I'm still studying. I believe I'm not where I am, but I thank God for where I am now. So that's what I'm hoping to see, and I'm really, really excited. And I also want this forum not to just be about Michael alone. Any other person can facilitate. It has to be participating, not just you talking. Let's get involved. Let's see this succeed. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tina. You made me emotional towards the end, right? You said not just Michael alone, and I honestly appreciate that, and that's the kind of vibe I'm looking for. There's a proverbial saying that a tree doesn't make a forest, and I'm so much particular that together we all win. That's my own aim. That I want to see people like you said, go from where they are to where they want to be. I've had people call me when they get that job offer and they are literally in tears. And I'm also almost in tears, right? Like, you just being part of somebody's success story. I don't think there's a better gift than that because it's priceless and it's timeless. And that's what I'm hoping that we'll be able to do here so that people can come in here and know that they can get the help they need and they can also get the support they need in a safe environment. So thank you so much, Tina. It doesn't feel like I connected with you just about 4 to 5 weeks ago. And, we talk like as if we've known each other forever. And I just want to thank you. Okay. Anyone else? I don't want this call to take a lot of time. Hopefully, we'll wrap it up in under 30 minutes here. I guess I'm going to look at the attendee list and start calling names now, right? So if I call your name, don't yell at me, okay? It's because I love you. I'm just only going to call you because I love you. Okay. Now, let me see. Let me call on Olayinka Abodunde. So Olayinka Abodunde, I connected with you barely about, is it about two? It should be under 3 months ago, right? That you reached out to me.
Yes, that was in August.
Okay, so I'm sorry, I didn't even remember. So August, so that's September, so that's still even just about 2 months,
Yeah.
right? And you were referred to me, right?
Yes.
Can you briefly walk us through to the extent possible? Again, no long stories, so that because again, just let them know I didn't prepare this with you, right? I didn't call you. I didn't tell you I was going to call you. Is that right?
No, you didn't.
Exactly. So I want people to know that this is as natural as it comes. So it's not like this not staged, right? So just I mean again, like I said, say whatever you like to say um in terms of the connection you had with me, if you don't mind.
Okay, good afternoon, good morning, everyone. My name is Olaika. I'm calling from the US. Like Oga Mike said, I connected with him about 2 months ago. I was returning into the job market. So earlier this year, I was impacted by a company-wide layoff. I'm a Scrum Master by profession. And so getting back into the job market was kind of tough for me. It's been long since, I had gone through the interview process and all of that. So I was not connecting, very well with going through interviews. And I got introduced to Oga Mike, and it's changed, the trajectory of everything. He gave me his help, gave me connecting with him, gave me all the confidence I had. Him talking with me, for I think I connected with you like the weekend before I had the interview for the job I currently have now. And, going through the steps with him again and him just giving me all that confidence, the courage, what I needed to do and everything helped me, land my new role today. And I'm really so grateful for him. He knowing him and him helping me through the process, was something really worked well for me. And I'm always grateful to you, Mr. Mike. Thank you very much.
Okay. Now, Olayinka, when you say that like that, you make it sound so simple, right? And you know, one of the and thank you so much again, Olayinka. I just want to put some context into what you said. One of the reasons why I'm so driven doing what I do is because I see the transformation it brings to people's lives and what a mentorship session can do to change the trajectory of your career. To be honest with you, for me, it's been what I would say, in my even in my formative years, I've always had that passion to just help people wherever I can to get them get better, either at what they're currently doing or to get to be able to do what they want to do. But little did I realize that indeed it was a gifting. Even when I kept struggling with it to say that, you know what, let's just keep doing it. And, until very, very recently in the last 2 to 3 years, where I became very deliberate about doing it. And then I realized that I think I can do more. And people continued to spur me to do more. And the kind of connections I'm having with people continues to drive me to do more. So it is the people that are connecting with me or I'm connecting with that actually continues to spur me on, especially when I see what the outcomes are. Some of them are just unbelievable. People going from minimum wage job to a six-figure job in Canadian dollars. It's unbelievable. And I just, like I said at times, I mean, I wouldn't say I cry with them. Some of them literally bust out in tears on the phone. And I'm just like, well, I'm just a man. And I was like, and everybody kept saying, Oga Mike. Most of them call me Oga Mike. I don't know. I mean, and it just stuck. And they're like, Oga Mike, you need to extend your tentacles. You need to provide a platform for yourself. And I'm like, would I even have the time and the energy and the resources to do it? I don't know. But they kept spurring me on. Both mentees, professional friends, they kept spurring me on until I had to give in. And I said, okay, let's see what we can get done. Let me put myself out there to see whether folks truly mean what they say. And that's how we got here. So this is not just for me, it's for all of us. It's for all of us to be able to have a wider reach, to be able to help more people, to be able to see more people succeed. That's why we are here. So thank you once again, Olayinka. I appreciate you. Anyone else? Comments, question?
Hi everyone. Good afternoon.
Hey, Efe, how are you?
Fine. Can you hear me clearly?
Yes, I can hear you very clearly.
Okay, because I'm using um my AirPods. Just wanted to confirm that it's clear.
Yeah, it
Okay,
is.
so thank you so much for um finally starting this community. And I say finally because I think I'm one of the people that were actually like spurring you for this to birth this community, which I'm really excited that you have started now. And I just wanted to pick two things from what the first speaker and the second speaker said, and I'm glad that you sort of touched it now. So I'm happy that um, the first speaker said something that you might have a talent and you might not really know until people bring that talent out in you.
Correct,
So
correct.
it sort of resonates with the breadth of this community, really. Not to say that Oga Mike did not know his talent. Of course, he knew who he was and what he was capable of, but he just didn't like feel like maybe he was ready to go there yet. But when it started becoming like a constant, hearing from his mentees, as I said, hearing from professionals, as I said, that is what actually brought about this community today. And I'm so glad that you someone here random I'm sure that you probably did not have this conversation with that person that spoke, and someone here just randomly says something in that line. So it's just so exciting to hear that we are all in the right direction and we're here for a very good purpose, and I'm sure it's going to be a very interesting journey for all of us. And then the second thing was the second speaker said something about she had no clue. Because of the help of mentors and all of that, she goes into meetings. In her first job as a scrum master, she's speaking, and they're like, "Oh, she has a lot of experience." I can attest to that. That I remember when I got my job as well in tech, and the first time that someone reached out to have a one-on-one with me for me to present um, or dissect a document that was shared with me, they asked me to review it and come back with feedback. I had no clue what I was going to do. And the person
Oh
that
my
came to
goodness.
my mind was Oga Mike. And a night to the day that I was meeting with the project manager, he dissected, he's not working in my company. I showed him a document from my company. He dissected the whole thing. As he was speaking, I was recording him. As we were done, I went to start memorizing everything he said. And the way he said it to me, it wasn't about cramming. He said it in a way that a document that I had no clue what he was saying, I now understood it. So I went into the meeting the next day. Even before going into the meeting, I already sent an email prior to the project management, dissecting the documents and giving a heads up of what we'll be discussing on the call. We got on the call. It was almost like, oh, wow, thank you so much. I never even thought about all these things. Thanks for pointing all of this out. Thanks for pointing this out, blah, blah, blah. I was literally speaking everything that I heard from him. Trust me, not anything that I researched myself. Everything he said to me was exactly how I went to say it back at work. And trust me, he really won me some points at the start of my job. So I just want to encourage everyone that is here. You're in the right place. If there's anything that you are going through, don't feel shy or don't feel, oh, it's a stupid question or it's a stupid request. Just be open, come here with an open mind. And I believe that we're all going to benefit from everything that we hope to get from here by God's grace. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Wow. That almost brought tears to my eyes, Ife. I remember that evening, and again, someone referred you to me, right? And goodness, you know, when you say it like that, Ife, it really humbles me. I remembered sometime recently, somebody got a job. I wasn't part of the interview process for her getting that job, but because we used to both work in a previous organization, so she was able to see me on LinkedIn and then she connected with me and said, "Oh, you used to work at the Canadian Red Cross." I said, "Yes." And then she now said that, that she just started a job. She was actually, what was she? She was working in a consulting firm and she was a BA, but it was more of a data migration project. And she was like, she had no clue on how to even do the documentation that was expected of her, that the technical folks were not helping at all. And I'm like, so how will I help you? As in, it's your organization, right? And she said, please, Oga Mike, I need to know how to document. And I said, okay, get me the data model of the data migration plan and let us see what we can do. And, the rest is history. We met about 3, 4, 5 times. At some point, I had to refer her to another person because, again, I believe in doing right by the candidate. It's not all about taking the credit. It's about doing right. And I think that's why people come back, right? And at the end of the day, she was amazed, as in that I was even helping her way more than the technical folks on her team. And I said, well, I'm just glad I could. And I remember, Ife, that evening, you were referred to me. I didn't even know why you wanted to see me or why you wanted to connect. And when you now send the document, I remembered, yeah. And when I saw it, I just laughed because that was very much in my wheelhouse. And I still remembered us on that call. I never knew you were memorizing what I was saying. Though I do hear that a lot, that people literally record what I'm saying. And someone actually sent me a playback recently, which I threw in the WhatsApp group recently as well. But those of you that joined the WhatsApp afterwards, you wouldn't be able to hear the recording. And I just talk. And I, again, like I said, I don't say this for pride, for arrogance, but I think that when I talk, I give value. A friend of mine once told me, he said, Mike, you can't afford to be talking to people for too long. You are giving value for free. And I said, okay, well, maybe I need to do better. Someone literally sent me an email 3 days ago saying he has a project manager interview on Monday with a recruiter. When I got that email, I felt said it's a 30-minute call. And I felt it's just a recruiter now. You should be able to wing it. So I didn't respond. A day passed, 2 days. He sent another email saying, Oga Mike, I hope you got my message. And I felt I needed to be professional, right? So I responded and I said, I think if it's a recruiter interview, is the very first stage, you should be able to get through it, right? And I just felt the need. So that's the compassionate person in me. So I just said, okay, give me your number so I can call you. And then I ended up talking to him. And we spoke for about 19 minutes. And by the time we were done, he said, Oga Mike, thank you so much. He said, my major issue is not being able to articulate myself well when I'm sitting across the interview table. He said, but with the few things we've discussed right now, he said, I feel much better. And I said, I'm glad you say that. I said, go for that recruiter interview on Monday. Let me know. And then when you are hired, when you are called for the next stage, we can figure out how, you will book me for an interview prep session. I said, you need to believe in yourself for any other person to believe in you. It's called the principle of self-belief. It's different from self-confidence. Self-confidence is external, the way people see you, the way they perceive you. But self-belief is the way you see yourself, the way you believe in yourself. Self-confidence can come and go. Self-belief is either you have it or you don't. I believe in myself. Now, don't forget, I'm a godly man. So I'm not talking about you not believing in God. That's not what I'm talking about. But you need to have a can-do spirit, if that makes sense. Okay. Thank you so much, Efe. And I'm glad to hear that story because I don't think I heard that part of you having to memorize everything I said. I think this is the first time I'm hearing that piece of it. I knew you blew them away at your place, but I didn't realize you were memorizing everything. And I'm just speechless because I hear that a lot. So thank you so much, Efe, and I appreciate you. Efe, somebody, whenever I call her, she's there. If she's not there, she will have a good reason. So I really appreciate you, Efe. Okay, 10 minutes to go. Who else has something to say? Questions, comments, contributions. You guys have to let me know what you want us to be doing here. My plan for now is that we're going to be having these sessions 1 hour every Saturday. We keep doing it. The community will start to evolve. There's a lot of work that needs to be done. Work is in progress, and I'll be bringing those updates as we meet every week. But it would be great if we can start, and I would kick something up. I was just this last week, it was just to get people to come in. Hopefully this week now, we'll start engaging, and I'm looking forward to all of you to join me as we engage. We can engage in the WhatsApp forum. We can engage in the community on nas.io. I think engaging in the, I'm coming for you just a minute. I think engaging in the community nas.io will be very good because it has a feed. So you can easily see who said what and who commented what. So we'll start all of that in this coming week and hopefully we'll get ourselves talking. Feyi, please.
No, I just wanted to make a commendation. So I was listening to the meeting, and my husband was like, "Ah, what's that? That who is that?" I said, "Oga Mike." He said, "Oh, that is." He felt that the voice sounded familiar. He now said, what are we all about?" And I said, that Oga Mike is launching this his business, his consulting business to do interview. And I said, yes, he deserves it. So I just wanted to share it with you that because he's been part
Wow.
of the whole journey. So he said, you
Wow.
deserve it. And I said I wanted to share it in the group too.
Wow. Wow. So Faye, where are you calling from so that people would know?
I'm calling from Winnipeg, Manitoba.
Winnipeg, Manitoba. Wow, Faye.
Yes.
So Faye, let me bring you back to how you and I connected. Tell them that story. Where were
Okay.
you? What were
Okay,
we?
so I was in Nigeria when I joined cohort for Black Force, and fortunately for me, I was paired with Oga Mike in our group, and back from working, joining the meeting and all those things from Nigeria was very stressful and time consuming, but I never, he never made me feel I was out of place. Never made me feel I wasn't pushing myself well because he understood where I was coming from. And even when I got to Canada, his support has always been there. He's like my uncle, my adopted uncle, kind of. So that's how we have built our relationship. It's beyond Black Force. It's beyond Salesforce. It's now more personal and all.
Thank you so much, Faye. When you say that, one of the things you may not have said, which I'm going to say here, is that I remembered one night when you said you had issues installing data loader, right? You remember as part of Salesforce.
Yes.
And you asked the question in the group, and I'm not sure whether anybody responded. And then I decided to connect with you. Were you using a Mac laptop? Was it Macintosh or
No,
Windows?
Microsoft.
Okay,
Windows.
Windows. Okay. And I remembered as we were on that conversation, your power went out. And then
Yes.
everything just went black. And I was like, Faye, what happened? And you said, what imunolo? Ah. I was like, okay, I've not heard that in years, right? And then the next thing you came up online, you told me, that your laptop, the battery may soon run out. Then you turned on your phone light, and I was like, what kind of? And I said, Fee, what are you doing about getting out of that country? And then you told me you were working at it, you and your family and all of that, and I was super excited, right? And I knew when you were traveling, you had assignments to submit, and we got, and I just look back and here you are now, right? That's almost 2 years ago. And the rest is
Yes.
history. And I just appreciate the fact that we're still staying connected and we can still do greater things together. So thank you so much. And my regards to your husband, please.
Thank you.
Thank you. Just to put things in perspective for folks, a lot of my mentees that are female, I do try as much as I can to actually connect with their spouses because it seems like more often than not, they keep hearing my voice and they're like, who is that guy you're always talking to? So I want them to know that it is me, Michael Boyo, right? Olu, you want to say something about that? Please go ahead.
Hello everyone.
Hi. Where are you calling from, Olu?
I am in Edmonton, Canada. And well, do I want to talk about that? Not exactly, but I can attest to that. Well, I am one of your female mentees that eventually it will just become like a family. Mentor Mike, well, I call him Mentor Mike, right? It will just become like a family mentor eventually, like to everybody. But um that aside, I just felt I needed to say something here today about how and why I decided to connect with Michael Boyle. So I would say I heard him a couple of times, and every single time I heard him speak, I would go back to think like, who is this person? Because he always dropped at least one nugget that I could pick and move on with. So eventually, when I connected with him, one thing I liked that he did was one question he asked. He said, "Why did I decide to connect with him?" Now, that was not a question I was prepared for, because I just felt at least I'm here. I've given the reason why I wanted to connect with you and all of those. At least I typed it out. But having that question directly, like from his mouth, it just caught me up again. Like, okay, I'm here for a serious one. And then I told him I connected with him, and then we laughed about it, and then the journey started from there. Now, one reason I connected with him was I know he has spoken about confidence and he has differentiated self-belief versus confidence, which is one thing I have picked from him today again. So um, I picked the fact that someone could speak and decide to drive his own life as it were, not wanting to depend on anybody. Now, he made a statement because I actually heard him from a community I joined, and he made a statement that he decided that he was going to be a leader of whatever group he is in. And in my head, I had filled the form and I'm like, no, I don't want to be a group leader. Here's someone saying that if I'm coming in, I want to be the leader. And it's like, yes, because I do not want anybody to slow me down. So those are like those pointers for me, like, okay, now there are different categories of people. Some of us, we probably need to be pushed. Some other people are saying, no, I am going to be the push. And that's one of the things. And he spoke with, I heard the confidence in him, and I could say that this person is a go-getter. And of course, it's not about motivational speaking. It is, I could see the result of the things that I was talking about. So this is about also seeing the result from the things that he's saying that he did. And I'm like, okay, wow, I needed to connect with him. And well, to cut the long story short, we are here today. He's been with me on my career journey of transitioning to IT. And till today, I can say that I've not regretted connecting with him. And if I want to wrap this up, just to mention one thing that I would love to see in the community, it would be the fact that, yes, in as much as people want to transition into tech, there's sustainability. We have to sustain it, right? So if we could have those talks about how to remain, because things keep changing. So yes, I may have transitioned. However, what next? How should it be? And how can you be in quotes the beast and not beast? It's dog, right? Dog is anyway. How can you be like ahead of the game, right? So that you're able to sustain yourself within the industry and well, life generally. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you so much, Olu. Yours, I think, is a story we should keep for another day, right? And one of these days, I would call you up to tell your story. But thanks for chiming that in. I have no regrets as well. And my regards to your husband. And like you said, we've been like family, and I do appreciate that. Thank you. Okay, Oladapo, and I think that may be the last speaker I may be able to accommodate because I want to respect everybody's time. Oladapo, please.
Thank you very much, and I'm glad I'm able to make it.
Yeah, where are you
Um,
calling from, please?
I am calling from Fort Worth, Texas, United States.
Sorry,
Um,
where in the United States? Sorry, I didn't get that.
Fort Worth, Texas.
Ah, okay. Interesting.
Yes. So I was invited by Tina. Thank you again, Tina. We have not spoken before. I barely know her, but we were in another community of practice, and she had mentioned something like this is happening, and I just quickly buzzed her to share the link, and that's why I'm here. And they kind of look like I see that every other person that's been talking, look, they kind of have one connection with you one way or the other. And I'm not the only, I mean, I'm probably the only one that's probably new to you. I don't know, but I
Yeah,
just
now
wanted
you're
to
no
put
longer new.
myself right. That's why I'm trying to put myself out there. I am not transitioning. I started, I think I got my first job 2001 in Nigeria, and I've always started in the electronic payments industry. Now it's called fintech. And I did that up until like 2015 as a business development slash product manager with the company that I was working for. We were printing ATM cards and deploying POS terminals for all Nigerian banks. And anyways, I came to the United States, and one of my co-workers back in Nigeria, who is a developer, introduced. It was like, "Oh, Ogadapo, why don't you go into? Have you heard about Scrum?" I
Mhm.
said, "No." So he's like, "Oh, I think you should do Scrum since you're already a project manager and all that." So I went into Scrum, but unfortunately, I don't like to say this, but I have not been able to work any Scrum role since then. I have my PSM1, PSM2, Safe 6, all of that.
Mhm.
But I got my first job with a consultancy, and they post me to USA Bank, and I was actually um, manage. Like, it's like a project management role where
Mhm.
I was only supporting a team of like bank advisors that are working on controls and processes and procedures to mitigate some risk around KYC AML.
Okay.
So I that kind of threw me off a little bit. I got lost. At the end of the day, it was a consent order by the OCC that we were working on. It was a particular project. The project ended after like 2 years, and I got back in the labor market looking for. So I have not been able to practice Scrum. Now, unfortunately, everything seems to be fast paced right now, and to the point where after I lost that job, people will be like, "Oh, go and do DevOps," and then before find a class for DevOps, they say, "No, I think you should add Salesforce. It'll be better that way." Before I think of Salesforce, they're talking about add BA to it, and then AI came in. Everything just seemed to be out of place right now. I just seem to be. It's so fast paced, and I'm struggling to catch up with that. What's happening in that industry as of right now. That's why I want to really, you know, collaborate with people and see how, like what's the best way to get back in that, get my job back and be able to have significance, if that makes sense. But anyways, without boring, I'm not trying to bore you guys, but I'm just saying why I'm here. So I just want to know, what is there a schedule? Is there a plan? What are we gonna be doing? That's basically all I want to know. Thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you so much, Oladapo. And now you are putting me on the spot, right? And you are sounding like the kind of messages I get when someone reaches out to me and tells me, gives me a bit of background and context to where they are and where they want to be. Um, because of time constraints right now, I would say that I have people still raising up their hands. Okay, maybe because Olushola is into Scrum. Okay, Olushola, please go ahead.
No, I'm not into Scrum. Maybe this is a
Oh,
different fella.
no, no, sorry. That was Olayinka. I'm sorry. No, no, this is somebody different. Now I know. Hey, Shola, how are you?
I'm well, thanks.
And thanks so much for joining. How is the family?
Oh, we're trying to be good.
Yeah, yeah, we have to be very positive, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well, I wasn't going to talk because I can you hear me because I'm actually
Yes,
driving. Sorry.
yes, we
I'm
can hear you.
juggling so much right now in my life. So
I can imagine.
I'm always on the move. Right. Okay. So I wasn't going to talk because I thought that this should be a floor for the big tech guys, not it's like me. I mean, like, so I recently just connected with Mr. Boyo.
So sorry, Shola, before
Who,
you go ahead.
yeah.
So just 1 minute. I was thinking you wanted to respond to Oladapo. So you're
Oh
not
no,
going
no,
to.
I was
No,
just raising
okay.
my
So
hand so that you
all
can
right.
call me. No,
Okay, just 1 minute. Let me
okay,
just
not a
tie
problem.
tie up Oladapo. So, Mr. Ladapo, let's keep that conversation going. You can tag me. So I don't know whether you've joined the community on nas.io. I put a link in the chat. You can join and let's continue the conversation in the community. Meanwhile, I will come and answer I will try to address your question when we meet next week, Saturday. So my plan is to be here Saturday, 1 hour, and we can, talk about specific things. And then in the course of the week, let us continue the engagement. I can start it off. If I find you in the community, I would please urge you, join the community if you have not joined. Join right now. The link is in the chat so that I can see you. And then we can continue that conversation. Is that
Okay.
fair, Oladapo? And I
That
like
makes
your
sense.
story. Your story is very typical. Even though it's unique to you, I believe
Yes.
that we can be of help. And thank you very much for joining. Thank you for trusting Tina. Thank you once again, Tina. Okay. So Olushola, please go ahead.
Thank you. And sorry you got the wrong person at the wrong time.
Yeah,
Okay. The only reason that I then decided to speak is because of, is it Oladapo or Nadapo? The person
Oladapo.
who just spoke.
Wonderful.
Yeah,
Okay. Because I thought, we should leave all the talking to the gurus while we just, listen. But I like his openness. And I like the fact that he dared to be vulnerable. Not a lot of people come out and share that kind of story
very
to
true.
say, hey, oh, I lost my job and all that. Yeah. My story is slightly different from his. I didn't lose my job. I gave it up
Mm,
for my son. Mr. Boyo knows a bit of that story. So I'm kind of at a point in my life where I am trying to transit to tech because I feel that that will more likely serve my goal at this time in my life because I need a lot of flexibility. And I have been a banker for more than 32 years. You know that most of banking operations, apart from the tech support, is in person, and
correct.
that's not working for me, right? So that's why I found myself in Salesforce. And then Bob Skanky, when I had a conversation with him, he said, "Oh, why didn't you talk to Michael Boyo?" And that's how I connected with Mr. Boyo. And I must say, for me, I don't know how to blow people's trumpet. I just like to say things the way they are. I had just one conversation with him, which was impromptu over the telephone, over a few minutes. From that conversation, I got clarity about exactly what I think the direction I should be going with this tech thing. Because, like Oladapo said, there's so much out there. And then when I got into Black Force, I'm like, God, they've got so much going on here. It's wild. Which way do I go? But that telephone conversation with Mr. Boyle, for me, and then coupled with my past career experience, just kind of, it's like when you put on floodlight in a dark place. That's the way I'm going to summarize it. So, yeah, I will join with others to say that I think what you're doing is great. And I think it deserves to be put on a pedestal, just as you're trying to do with this forum. I can only wish you the best. And I hope that you find me a job within the next 3 weeks. Thank you.
We need a 90-day plan, Olushola. No, thank you so much for saying that. And, like you said, we barely connected about 2 weeks ago when I spoke to you yesterday, I think, and you were telling me what that call did for you again. It just, I'm just grateful that I'm able to help. Thank you. Tina,
Yeah, I just want to reply, Oladapo. I quite understand what he's going through, but I wouldn't have time to discuss that.
yeah,
If you can reach out to me, let's talk.
that
Because
would be
I
great.
was in a situation like 7 months ago. The let's just face reality. There are no scrum jobs. Scrum jobs, let me say there are no jobs, just there are very few. Like where I'm working presently, I was employed as I'm employed as a project manager, but the role I'm doing is Scrum. But if you look at most of these project manager role, they're actually Scrum. So you need to upskill. Let's talk. let's just, you can call me later, and because we don't
All
have
right.
time.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. So Ladapo, that's why you need to join the community, right?
I
So
did
that you
already.
can connect. Thank you so much. And you can tag people, connect with them. Her name is Tina. And like I said, I would even kick things off after the call, and then we can continue that conversation. Okay, I think we've gone past our time for today. Once again, I just want to thank everyone. You guys keep on validating what I'm trying to do here. Thank you for joining. Thank you, my friends that are here. And I'm hoping that, we can start the engagement now, true engagement within the community. And hopefully, I will continue to evolve the community, and definitely you're all going to be part of it. So I just want to appreciate you all. Look forward to hanging out with you again next week. The event will be in the community, and once you have that detail, again, feel free to extend it to your friends, your networks that you believe will benefit from what we are doing here. Appreciate you all. God bless you. See you again next week, same time. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.